Today we're driving the 2022 Ford Maverick Hybrid. This is an XLT. It costs about $23,000. It's front-wheel drive, makes 191 horsepower, and it gets 42 miles to the gallon in the city, 33 on the highway, about 37 miles to the gallon combined. We have a 4.5-foot bed. This weighs about 3,600 pounds, 3,700 pounds. It's a pretty lightweight, attractively styled, and very interesting compact truck from Ford. These are my first impressions on this thing. I have only really had this for a few hours. Let's go take this for a drive. We'll walk you around it and hopefully give you guys an idea of what this new Maverick is like. So first impressions on the interior, this is a really interesting design. I like the space. The materials themselves aren't necessarily that high quality, but they're designed in such an interesting way. We've got these bolts right here that kind of remind me of the Bronco. There's lots of contrasting colors. I love all the surfacing and little touches that Ford has done here. We have lots of nice storage. The door panels have this really large section right here for a tall water bottle. There's lots of hard plastics all throughout, but I think it looks really cool. We have more storage compartments up here, tons of space in the bottom here. We have rubber lining in the base of some of these storage compartments to keep things from rattling around. Nice size center console. And look at these cloth seats. Contrast orange stitching. I love a good cloth seat. Let's show you what the outside looks like. So, the Maverick comes in a hybrid front-wheel drive. This is an e-CVT, very similar to the CVTs that Toyota has used for years in their hybrid vehicles, not a belt-driven CVT, so it should be pretty reliable. So, 4.5-foot bed, not the largest pickup bed, but functional and usable if you need a smaller truck. And for the price, starting at 23 grand, kind of hard to beat it. This has an optional bed liner from the factory. It actually looks pretty nice. We just took this through the wash. Charlie was doing some off-roading in it earlier this week, and it was filthy dirty. We have 17-inch wheels with loads of sidewall, torsion beam, rear suspension, strut-type front suspension, a decent amount of legroom in the back. I'm 5'10". I have a great amount of headroom, and seated behind myself, I'm pretty comfortable back here. Again, more storage in the back, lots of door pockets. We get a little charge port right there, a tiny little armrest. Very, very cool. And in this yellow, I think this is one of the best looking yellows on sale today. It's got the right amount of saturation. It's a cool looking little truck. It's been getting a lot of attention this week. A lot of people are asking about it. I mean, this is kind of the size of the old Ford Ranger. And the new Ford Ranger is the size of the old F-150. Everything's just become upsized. I like the contrast, dark anthracite wheels. It's not too high. We still have about 8 inches of ground clearance. Yeah, I like the looks of this Maverick. At first I wasn't quite sure what the purpose of this truck is, but you know what? Fleets, individuals, anyone who wants to get into a cheaper truck these days, this is a really great option. Trucks have gotten so expensive and so premium that getting into a sub $20,000 truck is almost impossible unless you just get a completely undesirable work truck. Let's pop the hood and show you underneath. There's your 2.5 liter Atkinson cycle 4-cylinder. We have a 1.1 kilowatt hour battery, 37 miles to the gallon combined, 191 horsepower, pretty impressive specs. All right, before the light gets any lower, let's take this new Maverick for a drive. Lots of physical controls. You have a bunch of different drive modes. Normal, tow haul, slippery, eco, and sport. We're probably just going to leave it in normal. Lots of nice buttons to control our gauge cluster brightness. We have a fuel tank door popper, a bed light back there, which is nice. Auto headlamps. Nice physical controls for the climate control. we do get this rotary shifter. One complaint that I have about the rotary shifter is that it doesn't necessarily stop when you have reached drive or when you have reached park. It just kind of keeps turning. It would be nice to have a hard stop on that. Also, this display is a little bit cheap. The contrast ratio at an angle isn't the best, but for 23 grand, it's hard to complain about anything in this new Maverick. All right, let's take it for a drive. You can hear there the engine just kicked on, warming us up. It is a chilly 15-degree evening tonight in Southeast Michigan. Before we get started with today's drive, I would like to thank our sponsor for this video, Phantom Wallet. This is my daily wallet. It's a well-engineered product that I really have enjoyed using the last year or so. This is the Phantom R. It's their higher-end model. You can bolt on a number of different attachments to the back. This is the key holder attachment, and I really like this because it kind of combines everything that I need out of my wallet. I can hold my keys, I can have a money clip on the other side that I bolt on, hold some cash, and I can fan out all my cards like this. There are a number of different finishes, color choices, card capacities, pretty much customizable to anything that you need. Check them out at phantomwallet.com and use the code TOPHER for 10% off your order. Engine kind of has a deeper, throaty sound. It's a little bit loud at partial throttle, but at wide open, it's actually not terrible. Super responsive and plenty of power from the combined electric motor and gasoline engine. It's easy to stay in regenerative braking too with the brake pedal. Everything feels very linear and natural. And when you're just putzing around normally in this thing, trying to achieve the best fuel economy possible, it's a pretty quiet powertrain. It blends in with the road and wind noise nicely. This drives a lot like the Bronco Sport, to be honest. We have a much longer wheelbase, of course. It definitely rides a little bit on the stiffer side, but it's not harsh. And in the winter, the shocks are definitely going to have a little bit stiffer response just because of the higher viscosity of the fluid. Handling is very nice for a truck. It feels front drive, but it is nimble and lightweight. Stability control is a little bit intrusive at the limit. There is a traction control button right here, but I'm not sure if you can completely disable everything. I don't think you can. You can just turn off traction control. Got some fun hybrid noises under braking. We've got a few rattles on the interior in this Maverick, though those same rattles are not present in Charlie's XLT. This could possibly be a pre-production truck. It seems like we have just a little bit more rattling. We have some pulsing from the brakes. You never know. This could have lived a very hard life up until this point. I usually blame car and driver for any issues with cars because they've probably had the vehicle before us and just tested it to its limits. In the last 2,700 miles, according to the trip, this has averaged 33.4 miles to the gallon, which is super impressive, especially throughout the winter here in Michigan. Hybrids definitely take a fuel economy hit in the colder months. Let's put us into sport mode and see how this does a 0 to 60. Little simulated shift there. Let's see how this accelerates off the line here. Not bad, not bad at all. Plenty of power in my opinion for something like this. I think if you are interested in fuel economy and you don't necessarily need four-wheel drive, this hybrid is an excellent option. You're going to get great gas mileage on the highway in this thing, and in the city it's going to be even better because you're always going to be coming to a stop. You're going to be braking, using that regenerative braking to put more power into the battery, and that'll just help your fuel economy even more. I am excited to test Charlie's FX4 all-wheel drive. I imagine that will probably be a little bit more of a truck-like experience. He also has the towing package. You can tow up to 4,500 pounds in that truck. We have very simplified controls on the steering wheel, very similar to a lot of other Ford products. This has the kind of rubbery plastic steering wheel that we've seen in the Bronco Sport. I actually like it a little bit better in this Maverick. For some reason it just looks and feels a little bit higher quality. The seams on it are a little bit smoothed out, and for $23,000 I honestly can't complain. We have our volume controls and track controls on the bottom here, standard cruise control. Nothing fancy there. The center gauge display is nice and simple. You get little messages that come up that show you your brake coach, how much energy has been regenerated from the braking system. We are in sport mode right now. Definitely a little bit of understeer at the limit. Not a lot of weight over the rear end to balance things out. We'll put us into, let's go into eco mode, see what that's like. Setting the cruise control, 70 miles an hour. Wind noise sounds pretty good, not a lot going on at speed. I have excellent visibility all around me. I like the shape of the mirrors in this Maverick. Pretty good view out of the rear window too, and the sides. Cruise control is pretty old-fashioned, pretty old school. You can kind of one press for each mile per hour change. And in this truck, we don't have adaptive cruise control or lane keep assist. I do like the auto fan limit though with climate control. That's a nice feature. While we're cruising here on the highway, let's do a quick sound system test. So we'll go into our music, playlist. Not the best sound system. Bass gets a little bit muddy, but the trebles and mid-range sound okay. For more in-depth sound system tests, I'd recommend checking out the Daily Motor YouTube channel. Charlie goes a little bit more in depth and has a more variety of tracks on his videos. We've got a little bit more wind noise now that we've creeped up to 75 miles per hour. And the sound deadening in this Maverick feels a little bit thin, getting quite a bit of road noise and sound from other vehicles. Also, I noticed earlier this week, the horn is incredibly loud in the cabin when you hit it. There's just not a lot of distance between you and the horn, and that front firewall might be a little bit thin too. Kind of a unique experience. I've never heard a horn that loud in a cabin. Alright guys, so those are some first thoughts on the new Ford Maverick. An interesting little truck. At first I wasn't quite sure why Ford was even making this, really what the purpose of it was, but I am glad to see some smaller trucks back on the market. I think it's an important niche. The price of this is really compelling, really incredible. The fact that you can get one of, a fully loaded Maverick for a little over $30,000 and this hybrid for low to mid 20s is pretty impressive. It has a lot of great features. I love the styling of this interior. It kind of makes me wish that the Bronco Sport had a similar treatment to its interior. It would just be a much more exciting space. And the fuel economy we've gotten this week has been very impressive. Highways netting about 33 miles to the gallon. I'd say the EPA estimate is pretty on point. And city would probably be better if it weren't so cold out. Check out the turning radius here too. Pretty good turning radius. It's not slow, that's for sure. Before we wrap up this video, let's do a little bit of night driving in the city here at low speeds and show you how the hybrid powertrain handles electric-only driving. So we're accelerating up to 25 miles an hour here in electric only. You can see right there it says that there's a little fuel indicator and it says electric, and that'll show you your instant miles to the gallon or whether you're in electric mode. You can also go through and cycle through the gauges and see how far you have, how much more acceleration you have in electric mode right here. You do get a little bit more regenerative braking in eco mode down here in the drive mode selector. Ride quality at low speeds is still pretty nice. No complaints there. And it seems like we can cruise quite comfortably in electric at city driving speeds. Hence that 42 miles to the gallon EPA number. You can hear there's just a little bit of a whir from a speaker underneath the car, just letting pedestrians know that there is a vehicle near them. I like that this Maverick has a usable amount of acceleration in city environments in full electric mode. That's pretty cool. I don't feel like I always need to be dipping into engine power to accelerate around town here. This is pretty cool. The suspension tuning here definitely isn't soft. It feels truck-like, but it, I would say, rides on par with the Ford Ranger, maybe a little bit less harsh. I'm not exactly sure what the tire pressures are at either. They should be at around placard. Headlights seem pretty decent too, about average for any new car these days. It's nice, you can just cruise in full electric mode at 45, 50 miles per hour in this thing if you have enough charge. Maintain your speed on a level surface. I actually really like driving in eco mode because it's a little bit easier to modulate your gasoline electric driving, and off throttle you get just a little bit more regenerative braking. Okay, hopefully that gives you guys a pretty good idea of what this Maverick is like to drive at night. I even like the headlights. Alright, well that's going to be it for this one. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll park this, walk you around it one more time, and looks like the sun is about to set. Yeah, Ford is going to sell a ton of these. And first impressions on this, pretty good. Excited to see if they come out with any more off-road oriented packages, what else they offer with this Maverick. But I think a lot of people are going to find a lot of different uses for these trucks. And it's cool to see such a value proposition enter the market. And I hope it entices other manufacturers to come out with some more small trucks like this. All right, guys, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Take care. I like that as a switchblade key, too. That's just cool.